now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Namaste, konnichiwa. Welcome to the 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗏 show. And today we have very special guest. She's not only beautiful, inside out, but she's a political strategist and best-selling author. Nari, Shakti. My Hindi is so good, so bad. So always, it's SH and S. It becomes like, yeah. So, diva, I would say, yeah, she's a diva, and I'm so glad that she has joined me today, Priyam. Welcome to the 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗏 show.
Thank you. Namaste, and thank you
Konnichiwa.
for having me. Yes, thank you for having me on your show. It's an
you.
absolute pleasure, and I really look forward to our conversation.
So do I, and I'm sure कि मैं थोड़ा हिंदी बोलने की कोशिश करूंगी. मैं हिंदी बोलती हूँ, लेकिन डर लगता है कि लोग बोलेंगे, अरे देखो इसकी हिंदी इतनी खराब है.
नहीं, Hindi is very forgiving.
Right?
Yes, very forgiving language. As long as the other person understands what you're trying to say, it's all good.
Right. तो फिर हम हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों में इसको इंग्लिश बना देंगे, और जैसे हम लोग हमेशा करते हैं. तो
Yes.
my Canadian friend says like, what, do you really speak English or Hindi? Like, what do you do? Like Indian,
Yeah.
kind of.
It's a
As if
mix.
we have our own language, kind of.
Yes.
So, Priyam, it's a definitely, you are a celebrated person, but still, I would like to ask, how do you describe politics? क्योंकि हम लोगों के लिए जो पॉलिटिक्स के बाहर है एंड टोटली थोड़ा सा एक बैरियर हो जाता है पॉलिटिक्स. Oh no, not for me, kind of thing. How do you describe politics?
I think the word that, if it had to be one word, I would say public service. And I think that, if you're, if you're motivated to only serve the people for the rest of your life, then you should take up politics. Very early on, one of my mentors had advised me that politics is never a profession. It can never be your profession. It is a byproduct and an outcome of your passion. And the passion has to be public service. So, your profession has to be something else. Like, I'm a writer, I'm a strategic analyst. So that has to be, like, they could be businessmen, they could be doctors, they could be engineers, your profession, yoga instructors. That is your profession. Politics is never a profession. Politics is service.
So politicians are public servant.
They should be, yes.
लेकिन यहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा सा प्रियम थोड़ा सा वास्तव में अगर हम लोग जाए तो हम देखते हैं कि पॉलिटिशियंस बहुत रिच हो जाते हैं पॉलिटिक्स में आने के बाद. तो ये थोड़ा सा कॉन्ट्रडिक्टरी नहीं है क्या?
बिल्कुल है, ये बिल्कुल कॉन्ट्रडिक्टरी है और ये गलत भी है. लेकिन क्या है कि now we are both women and we're talking, so let's go a little bit into that angle as well. कि हमें हमेशा बोला जाता है कि politics is the dirty the field profession, उसमें काम नहीं करना चाहिए. You're right, there's lots of corruption, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of cheating, and describe greed, all the things, you describe it and it's there. So mat karo. And especially for women, right? I don't even associate with them, is what we're told. But my opinion is that अगर अच्छे लोग इसमें आएंगे नहीं, अगर अच्छे लोग will not enter this field or will not take the step forward, then how are you going to cleanse the system? So, so there are steps that good people have to take. You have to be stronger than the others, and you just have to take that risk. Yes, because for a long period of time, good people, honest people, have been far lesser in number, than the corrupt and than the violent folks. it is true that a vast majority of politicians have accumulated essentially the country's wealth, right? That they've somehow, looted out of the
True.
system. But I do have faith. I'm always a realist, so I have faith that if enough good people, if enough young good people come into the system, then there is a possibility of cleansing it.
तो प्रियम बोल रही है कि द यंगस्टर्स जो देश को बदलना चाहते हैं, देश की सेवा करना चाहते हैं, उनको आना चाहिए, कीपिंग देयर प्रोफेशन असाइड, एंड इट्स अ सेवा है देश के लिए.
एब्सोल्युटली. और सिर्फ हमारे देश के लिए नहीं, मतलब दुनिया के लिए सेवा है. अगर आप अमेरिका में रहते हो, आप जापान में रहते हो, आप सिंगापुर में रहते हो, आप कहीं भी रहते हो, अगर आपको लोगों की सेवा करनी है, दुनिया की सेवा करनी है, देयर आर सो मेनी नेचुरल कॉजेज दैट नीड टू बी वर्कड ऑन. अगर किसी भी you want to be able to serve in any capacity, you do have to take that first step and enter public life.
Great. I think after watching this, many youngsters will be very much motivated joining politics. And I'm sure about it, especially, seeing you, such a young woman. And of course, in India, there's 33% or 30% the reservation for women. 30%.
Yes. So that reservation bill has been passed and it hasn't kicked in yet. So our parliament still doesn't have that ratio, but it will by 2028. It will.
Yeah, definitely. There is a hope. I think
yes.
We're looking for the brighter future.
Yes,
Future.
Absolutely. So
Priya,
we are equal. We are an equal gender, as in we are equal in number, and there is no reason that we should be underrepresented in in such a public sector like politics, where decisions are made for women every day.
True, very true, very true. And जहाँ पे आप जैसे एग्जाम्पल हो, तो और भी यंग स्टार्स, स्पेशली आज के जो यंग एकदम जो 20s के हैं, वो मतलब आपको देख के, आप सबको देख के ही तो दे विल बी प्रेरित होंगे ना, कि चलो हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं. अगर वो लोग कर रहे हैं तो हम भी कर, क्यों नहीं,
और हर जनरेशन को ये प्रेरणा मिलती है. People like me also. I also learn from watching some of my role models just work every day, and I think that is you should that's a very interesting way and a good way to learn and move forward.
Very much, very much. तो प्रियम, अब मैं थोड़ा सा पर्सनल में आना चाहती हूँ. For a woman, you are political analyst, you are doing so many things and you are writing as well. एक मतलब महिला के लिए हिंदी बहुत अच्छा हिंदी हो गया है, कितना डिफिकल्ट है, कितना is it difficult or just normal? How do you describe it?
Nupurji, see, you're a yoga, you're a yogini. So, you might be best placed to understand this, that the mind is capable, the human mind is capable of infinite possibilities. It is about learning to expand it and preparing your body to adopt, to that. So it is essentially that. ऐसा लगता है बाहर से कि ये बहुत मुश्किल होगा, इतना सारा कुछ करना बहुत मुश्किल होगा. But eventually it is preparing your mind and body to do more and more things because it is capable. We are capable of that kind of work and that kind of activity. So that's one. Second, I think that we're very fortunate that we have this human life, that we've been given this human life. So अगर आप पूरी जिंदगी आवारागरी या टाइम पास में वेस्ट कर दोगे तो क्या फायदा हुआ? So you
are not doing justice to your life.
You are not doing justice to this human life that हमारे हिंदुइज्म में तो बोलते हैं कि करोड़ों जिंदगियों के बाद आपको ह्यूमन लाइफ मिलती है. So what are you doing with this very valuable human life if you are not pursuing your passions enough? So I think that in fact sometimes I feel I'm not doing enough. There has to be more that certainly that time will allow me to do, and preparing my mind and body for that eventuality.
Mm. Very, I think um, someone as young as you and achiever, I would say, and coming those words from you, I think it is such an inspiration that you are, and especially women, I would say, even we are more capable than men.
Yes, yes,
Women.
we certainly are. Yes,
Yeah.
because I think it is in our how do we say, biology, right? That
True.
when we give birth to, say, children, uh, you have a child that is constantly seeking something or the other from you, especially when they are very, very young. So either they are crying, they are hungry, they are complaining about something, or they are happy and they want your attention. Constantly, they want your attention. So one part of your brain is always attending to your child as a mother. But along with that, क्या आप दूसरी सब activities बंद कर देते हो? नहीं करते. You're also attending to your family. You're also taking other phone calls. Maybe you're also working while your child is asking for something. You have already learned, it is in your biology to split your attention and to multitask. And this has been going on since generations. So I mean, and eventually when your children grow up, you are able to use that multitasking for various other things and divert that attention to some of the other things.
True, very true. I
Yeah,
think women are experts on multitasking. हम लोग
absolutely.
ऐसे ही, हाँ, हम लोग मतलब we are born for that, kind of.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that this happens. You give like a small kid to a man, any man, and you ask him to do some of the multitasking that women do on a daily basis in villages and cities and all kinds of places, they're not going to be able to do it. Just like women are not probably going to be able to pick up like 100 kgs weight every day, men are not going to be able to do some of that multitasking. Yeah,
True.
So we are blessed with that naturally, biologically.
ट्रू वेरी ट्रू एंड यहीं पे मेरा और एक सवाल है कि आजकल जो फेमिनिज्म जो एक वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट दिस इज आई एम फेमिनिस्ट कुछ एक्स्ट्रा जो सोसाइटी में हो रहा है एंड आई थिंक यू हैव आल्सो हर्ड देयर आर फ्यू सुसाइड केसेस आल्सो कमिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ अस तो how do you see this in a society?
So, I mean, first of all, I think, the young people specifically who get very influenced by social media, I think they need to remember and realize that what is feminism? What is feminism? Feminism is that men and women, the two genders, the only two genders that are existing, naturally in this world, should get equal opportunities, right? Now, having said that, I go back to it that both genders have different biological strengths that they are blessed with, that God has decided to bestow upon us. Men are physically stronger. Women are capable of childbirth. Women are natural mothers. Men cannot deliver, children. Men cannot produce life. Like that is so as long as we accept some of these biological realities, and then we understand that despite these biological realities, we are going to be able to overcome challenges of the world that we live in and seek equal opportunities in professions, in work, because eventually the mind is the same and you're going to be able to train your mind to do things. So you're fine, but you have to accept that the two genders have different physical limitations and different biological strengths. That is what it is. But yes, but having said, but suppressing a certain gender in a certain field, that might not be fair. Just because. So there are still parts of the world where men believe that if women are only meant to be baby producing machines and
patriarchal society.
Yeah, those patriarchal societies simply cannot work because women do have a mind. Women are capable of inventing
Yeah,
wonderful things. Women are capable of changing the world. So you cannot keep them away from, education and opportunity just because they produce children, you know.
true,
So,
true.
so that's the reality. But having said that, the fake feminism that is there, that okay,
Mm,
you know,
mm.
that is problematic for women also.
Exactly. That's the problem of the society these days, you know. Lot
Yeah.
of because people really आज के जो women है वो डीप में नहीं जाता है जो सामने दिख रहा है वही देख के मतलब स्लोगन देने लगते हैं you know so
Correct,
understanding
correct.
understanding of the situation understanding of the subject I think um, less and वो मुझे लगता है कि आज के women को मतलब I think people will judge me as well but more खुद पे you know they need to work on themselves more like
Yes,
instead of just holding a banner or you know just slogan feminism feminist just work on yourself you know prove yourself be someone in this
yes,
society I think that is the need of the hour instead of
yes,
just
absolutely.
right for the
Yes.
and that woman will inspire the many millions and
Oh,
they will
yes.
follow her so yeah
Absolutely. So if you
ex-
work on your craft, if your
hmm,
craft and your talent, and your intellect is, is superior because you have worked on it religiously with discipline, nobody is going to be able to ignore that. You are
hmm.
going to be, and that is going to be an asset for anybody around the world. So become
True.
that asset. Work on yourself.
ट्रू सो प्रियम ऐसा कोई सिचुएशन है आपके लाइफ में जब आपको लगा कि दैट वाज माय टर्निंग पॉइंट बिकमिंग हु एम आई एम टुडे
Um, that was my turning point. Very interesting. This is also so. This is after. Yeah, I think after. So my bachelor's degree is in a paramedical field. Okay, so I'm a physiotherapist also,
ओके कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट फील्ड
completely different. And and after my bachelor's, I decided that oh my God, this is like I feel like this is just being like a glorified mechanic for human body, and there is no strategic thinking in this profession. So I'm not going to be able to do this. I want to do more things um, that will involve more strategic thinking, that will be more like problem solving for the situations today. And I decided that, okay, well, I'm going to pursue my master's in a field that is a little more, that's going to involve the mind a little more on a day-to-day basis. And then I applied to policy administration programs. And because it was such an intentional decision to change fields, and that time you remember it was very difficult to change fields, especially for an Indian person who was on a tight budget in another country to explain to your family and, your social circle why you're suddenly not becoming a doctor and
ट्रू
doing something completely different was very difficult to explain. But because it was a conscious decision, um, I applied to a lot of these government programs in the United States, which where they identified like leaders of tomorrow. They started grooming U.S. future politicians by teaming you up with current politicians, and you were able to see things very closely. I think that was a turning point in my life where things became very clear that the path that life had chosen was very different from the path that I was on.
wow that's really you know I think your future God had different plan for you totally
Absolutely, you have to trust the process. Yeah, we get so anxious sometimes. When things are not working out at the speed at which you want them to work out, or things are not clear to you because you're not able to see the other dynamics at play.
true
You get very anxious sometimes. After all, you're only human. But there is a larger setup that the universe has for you as long as you keep working on that path.
and believe in it
And believe in it. Yeah, absolutely.
right
Absolutely. You
yeah
keep believing in it,
exactly
and the universe works harder than you to make it happen.
Wow, that's such a strong and powerful word and sentence you said. Universe works harder than you. Yeah. So it's a
Yeah,
manifestation thing. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
yeah, most
So Priyam,
certainly.
Priyam, actually, I think your latest book is If There Was No Congress.
Yes.
So कांग्रेस से इतनी नाराजगी क्यों है प्रियम को?
नाराजगी तो एक्चुअली कांग्रेस से तो कम है, लेकिन जो अपने आप को कांग्रेस ने ग्लोरीफाई किया है इतने साल, बाय पुटिंग आउट मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन, रॉन्ग इन्फॉर्मेशन, this book was an attempt to correct some of that historical misinformation that they have perpetrated over the years. Second thing, because people need knowledge is strength. People need to know the realities. Today, when you look at India's history after a little bit before independence and then after independence, you see that some of our core issues as a country, be it the China problem, be it the Kashmir issue, be it the Sikh separatism in Punjab, um, if emergency, and the outcomes of that, dynasty politics, some of the core issues that our country continues to face even today, has arisen from failed thinking of the Congress and its leadership. So this book really was an attempt to look at what thinking of theirs has failed, and why it has resulted in that challenge, which is still unsolvable in today's India as well. So, which is तो नाराजगी तो कांग्रेस से कम है, लेकिन जो मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन सबको दिया गया था कि वी आर द लार्जेस्ट एंड द ग्रेटेस्ट पार्टी एंड only we can take India to greater heights. Like, I wanted to really take a look at that and correct that misinformation for the
तो
youth,
उससे नाराजगी
especially
है
of the
कि
country.
बहुत सारे मिस
हाँ,
इन्फॉर्मेशन दिया गया है
हाँ,
और
मतलब
देश को
इतने सालों से
ठीक
झूठ ही बोलते रहे हैं.
और देश को ठीक से सच की तरफ लेके नहीं गए. You mean to say that?
Yeah, and it's like, a lie. That if you tell a lie to yourself enough times, then eventually you believe it's the truth. So if you're not going to correct that lie, then eventually you start believing that, okay, this is the truth. ऐसे ही हुआ होगा कि मतलब कांग्रेस ने ही देश को बड़ा बनाया है या सक्सेसफुल बनाया है. तो I didn't want it to get to a point where they've been able to say that lie enough times that it becomes the truth.
Hmm. True. So, it is very much said that Congress मुक्त भारत. Do you think होना चाहिए?
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता है नहीं कांग्रेस मुक्त होना चाहिए. आई थिंक दैट in a functional democracy there is space for all kinds of thinking and all kinds of ideologies, and currently they're in the opposition, and I don't know for how long they're going to be in the opposition, but they have a place today in the country. They have a place in the opposition benches, and they should remain there and try to be a good opposition party.
Mm-hmm. तो actually 2014 to 2024 exact 10 years अभी चल रहा है 25 sorry अभी भी 24
11, 12.
so 25 it's 11 years it's going to say. So what do you think the before 2014 and after 2014 to in this almost 11 years, what kind of changes do you see in the country?
So I think the biggest change on ground has been alleviation of poverty. You don't see as many incredibly poor people in the country as you did before 2014, which means that, and I think the numbers also support it, some 25 crore people who are now out of poverty, and rural poverty has gone down significantly, specifically also. So you don't see as many people sleeping on the streets or defecating on the streets and struggling to find a meal in the day. Okay, so that is your on ground changed in the last 10 years. When you look at a little bit of a macro picture, 10 years ago, we were the 11th largest economy in the world. And of course, before we started getting colonized, we were the, center of the global economy. But after that, even when we were colonized by the British called India its crown jewel. So they looted all the riches and we became poor. That's a different story. But to overcome from that poverty after the colonizers left, in 2014, we were the 11th largest size in terms of economic size. And in the last 10 years, we're now the fourth largest economy. That journey from 11th to 4th hasn't been easy. And it has taken a lot of strategic thought, a lot of work, a lot of discipline in that direction, a lot of great minds coming together to put us at this. Now, as the world's fourth largest economy and one of the two most populous countries of the world, we are very, very strong. And by very strong, I mean that if we decide to become closed for business for a certain country or a certain part of the world, that is going to affect that country's economy severely, because of the sheer size that we have and the sheer capability to accept and consume goods and services. Everybody wants to do business with India now. And we do business, say, 𝗀𝗍𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, because now we are of that size. Another consequence is also that becoming this size puts us in a place where we have a legitimate voice on the table of the big players, geopolitical players, in solving geopolitical challenges. So with ongoing wars, for example, or any other kinds of crisis, if there is evacuation that needs to be done because of a natural calamity. For example, after the pandemic, we sent a lot of vaccines to a lot of poor countries at the same time that we were vaccinating our own people. So not only we have a responsibility to take care of crisis situations world over, but we also have a very strong voice.
We have given also.
Yes, so we have a very strong voice on the geopolitical table in what our opinion is about solving geopolitical challenges.
Definitely. Definitely. I was taking कुछ दिन पहले मैं एक जापानीज की से बात कर रही थी और उन्होंने बोला कि maybe before 2050 India GDP number 1 हो जाएंगे. मतलब वो he's just he's not only saying, he's very great in business, so he analyzed it definitely and he realized that. So
no, it's very true, and in fact I would like to support that number that by 2030, which is now 5 years away, the big global power shift is expected to take place. By power shift I mean by size of military, by size of GDP, by investments in technology and population size. So if we look at all of this as power, that entire power shift is going to take place by 2030 from the west to the east, which means that the eastern hemisphere of the world will have a bigger military, will have bigger GDP, will have more population and more investments in upcoming technology than the west combined.
मतलब अपना टाइम आएगा नहीं, अपना टाइम आ गया kind of.
आ गया है, क्योंकि ईस्ट में अगर हम बात करेंगे तो Japan, China, Russia, India, these are the countries that are taking away the power from the west to the east. पहले जो बोल रहे थे, the west, the power is concentrated in the big nations, France, Germany, Canada, United States, etc. So Europe. So now that power shift is taking place, and by 2030 it's coming to the east. So that's
true.
where we are.
And India will lead.
Yes.
Definitely. So Priyam, मेरे दिमाग में कुछ नाम है और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप वर्ड और सेंटेंस में, क्योंकि you're an author, so so I would love to know the how would you describe those names, either
Okay.
one word or sentence you can use. Of
Okay.
course, Rahul Gandhi.
Dangerous fool.
Okay.
Um,
And, mhm.
and I think another entitled dangerous fool.
Mrs.
So
Smriti Irani.
okay. Mrs. Smriti Irani, gifted with the gift of the gab.
Mrs. Sonia Gandhi.
Not Indian.
Kangana Ranaut. Miss Kangana Ranaut. Yeah, Ranaut, I guess. I'm fine.
Ambitious and attention seeking.
Okay. And Honorable CM Yogi ji.
Yogi and dharmic and powerful.
And our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji.
Wow. I don't know how to say this in English, but the reason of changing the yug of Bharat.
Okay.
The
Yug changer.
Yug changer. They
Okay.
say in our text that the king is capable of changing the yug of a nation. So he's the nimit, the king, the person who is able
King
to change
who is
the
changing
yug of
the
our country.
yug.
Yeah.
Kya baat hai. That's great, wonderful, and I'm sure that that our the viewers would so not only enjoy this episode but will learn. I think too much people are into entertainment, watching reels,
Yes.
watching all these things. I think we
Yes.
have to be in those subjects where we can learn and contribute.
Yes, certainly, absolutely.
And through this episode of yours, I'm sure that youngster will be so much motivated and will say that, okay, I'm there to देश सेवा के लिए मैं राजी हूँ. मतलब
How
आगे.
nice. How nice. Even if one person, does that, we will consider it a success.
Great. Definitely. And we will do it. If there is anything I can do, I can be anyway help or something within my very limited power. I'll definitely will be there. And definitely you are so powerful all the way. You don't need anyone, but still,
How nice.
It was so wonderful talking to you, Priyam. And
it was so wonderful. Thank you for having me, really.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning. We will come with more topic, more conversation, because I feel that, especially the young women, I think we can talk about young in our next episode, especially about young women, how they should be more confident. They should, channelize their power, their confidence in positive way. I think that is also kind of need of our, need of the hour. So next time, definitely. I have got a little bit cold. I'm so sorry.
I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you. So next time, definitely we'll be talking all those subjects. And thank you so much, Priyam. Thank you.
Thank
Beautiful
you
name you have, Priyam.
Thank you. It means beloved in Sanskrit.
I know.
Yeah.
Priyam.
Yeah,
Priyatama also.
Yeah, true. But thank you so much. Lovely to meet.
Thank you so much. Thank you and namaste.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.